What if I told you that the most confusing, unexpected, and honestly frustrating changes in a woman's life don't happen at 40 or even 60, but quietly, almost secretly, after 80? Would you believe me? Or would you think someone should have warned you way earlier? Because here's the truth, raw and unfiltered. Nobody really sits you down and says, hey, this is what's coming. And then one morning you wake up and something feels off. Not dramatic, not loud, just different. Like your body changed the rules overnight without asking for permission. And suddenly, things that used to feel automatic now feel like they require thought, effort, caution, and yeah, sometimes courage. And that's where the story begins. Because this isn't just about aging. This is about the silent shift that catches even the strongest women off guard. Women who've raised families, survived heartbreak, built homes, held everything together when life tried to fall apart. Women who thought they had already seen it all until their own body starts writing a new chapter without instructions. And let me introduce you to someone. Call her Eleanor, 84. Sharp mind, warm smile, still got that spark. The kind of woman who walks into a room and used to own it without even trying. But lately, she notices something she can't quite explain. It's not just that her knees feel weaker or her steps slower. It's deeper than that. It's the hesitation before standing up, the pause before walking across a room, the moment where she asks herself, am I steady enough? And that question alone changes everything. Because confidence, once unshakable, now feels like something she has to negotiate with her own body. And nobody warned her that strength after 80 isn't just about muscles, it's about trust. Trust in your legs, your balance, your reflexes. And when that trust starts slipping, even just a little, it changes how you move through the world, how you think, how you plan your day. Because suddenly, every step matters more. Every movement has weight. And then there's this other thing, something even sneakier, something most people don't expect. Her sense of thirst almost disappears. Yeah, you heard that right. She can go hours without feeling like she needs water. And it sounds small, almost insignificant, until one afternoon she feels dizzy, a little confused, her energy drained like someone pulled the plug. And she wonders, what's wrong with me? Not realizing her body isn't sending the same signals anymore. And this is where it gets real, because dehydration doesn't knock loudly, it whispers. It shows up as fatigue, as foggy thinking, as a strange sense of weakness. And for many women over 80, this becomes a hidden struggle, something they deal with without even knowing the cause. And here's the part that hits emotionally, the part nobody likes to admit out loud. Eleanor also starts feeling less seen, like the world got louder but somehow stopped noticing her. Conversations happen around her instead of with her. People assume instead of asking. And it's not always intentional, but it's real. And for a woman who spent decades being needed, valued, respected, that shift can feel like a quiet kind of loss. Not dramatic, not obvious, but heavy, like carrying something invisible. And the thing is, she's still the same person inside, still full of thoughts, stories, opinions, humor. But the way the world responds has changed, and that disconnect can make even the strongest heart feel a little smaller. And then there's the energy, or rather the unpredictable absence of it, because one minute she feels okay, maybe even motivated, and the next it's like her body just says, nope, we're done for today. And that sudden drop can be frustrating in a way that's hard to explain, because her mind still wants to do things, still makes plans, still thinks, I got this, but her body doesn't always follow through. And that mismatch between intention and ability, that's where a lot of the emotional weight comes from, because it's not just about being tired, it's about feeling like your independence is slipping in small, unpredictable ways. And yet, despite all of this, here's what most people don't see: the resilience, the quiet adjustments, the small decisions that keep her going, like choosing to sit for a moment instead of pushing too hard, like taking a slower walk but still taking it, like learning step by step how to live in a body that plays by new rules. And that's where the real story is, not in the changes themselves, but in how she responds to them. because while nobody warned her about these shifts, she's still here, still adapting, still finding ways to move forward, even when it's not easy, even when it's frustrating, even when it feels unfair. And that deserves more recognition than it gets. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because once you start paying attention, you realize these changes aren't random. They're connected, like pieces of a puzzle nobody explained. And Eleanor begins to see patterns, like how her balance feels worse on days she hasn't had enough water, or how her energy crashes harder when she skips even a small meal. And slowly, almost like solving a mystery, she starts understanding her body again. Not the way it used to be, but the way it is now. And there's something powerful about that moment, because awareness changes everything. It turns confusion into clarity, fear into strategy. And that's when she stops fighting her body and starts working with it. She begins to build small habits, nothing dramatic, nothing overwhelming, just simple, intentional shifts, like keeping a glass of water nearby at all times, even when she doesn't feel thirsty, like doing light movements every day, not to stay young, but to stay capable, like reaching out to a friend, not waiting for someone else to make the first move. And yeah, some days are still hard, some days the fatigue hits, some days the loneliness creeps in, but the difference now is she understands what's happening, and that understanding gives her a sense of control she thought she was losing. And here's the thing, this isn't just Eleanor's story, this is happening to millions of women, quietly, privately, without enough conversation, without enough awareness. And that's why this matters, because when people don't talk about these changes, they feel alone. They think something is wrong with them, when in reality, their body is just following a natural, though rarely discussed, process. And imagine how different it would feel if someone had simply said, "Hey, this is normal, and here's what you can do about it." Imagine the relief, the confidence, the shift in mindset. And that's what we need more of. Real conversations, honest insights, practical understanding. Because aging isn't the enemy, confusion is. And once you remove that confusion, everything starts to feel a little more manageable, a little less overwhelming, a little more within reach. And here's where I want you to lean in for a second, because this part matters the most. Whether you're over 80, approaching it, or caring for someone who is, the biggest mistake you can make is ignoring these small changes, brushing them off, or waiting until they turn into bigger problems. Because the truth is, prevention after 80 doesn't look like big dramatic actions. It looks like small, consistent ones. It looks like paying attention, staying aware, being proactive in ways that feel doable, not exhausting. And that's where real strength comes from, not from pretending nothing has changed, but from adapting intelligently to what has. And if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this: you are not powerless in this stage of life, not even close. Your body may change, yes, but your ability to respond, to adjust, to care for yourself in smarter ways, that remains. And that is more powerful than most people realize. If you truly want to protect your health, independence, and dignity after 80, start by respecting the signals your body still gives you, even if they're quieter now. Don't wait for thirst. Drink water intentionally. Don't wait for weakness. Move your body gently every single day. Don't wait for loneliness. Reach out, connect, speak, because isolation is just as dangerous as any physical condition. Create a simple daily rhythm that supports you instead of drains you. Keep your environment safe and supportive so fear doesn't control your movement. And most importantly, change the way you think about aging. Stop seeing it as loss and start seeing it as adaptation. Because the women who thrive after 80 aren't the ones who avoid change, they're the ones who understand it, accept it, and respond to it with quiet strength and smart habits. And if you're someone watching this who has a mother, grandmother, or loved one in this stage of life, don't just assume they're okay. Ask them, listen to them, support them in ways that respect their independence while still being present. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can give isn't advice, it's attention. And in the end, growing older doesn't mean becoming less, it means becoming different. And with the right awareness, the right habits, and the right mindset, it can still be a life filled with strength, dignity, connection, and purpose far beyond what anyone expected.